what's up, everybody? A little bit of an early edition of the show today, episode 36 of Can We Make Impact the Best Promotion in Total Extreme Wrestling 2013. We are fresh off the heels of Impact TV. We had a sellout at the Alumni Stadium in Delaware, a B rating for the show, and we continue to work our way through a couple of different things. We've got our Impact Grand Championship Tournament. The semifinals will be coming up this week on TV. You'll have TJP versus Jake Hager, Will Ospreay versus Bobby Fish in competition for the Impact Grand Championship. Also, we discovered that the Lucha Bros versus the Briscoes will be our Tag Team Championship match at the upcoming February pay-per-view for Impact Wrestling. That would be Against All Odds. We also have a Fatal 4-Way match between Eli Drake, Johnny Impact, Rich Swann, and Sami Callihan, and the X Division Championship between Adam Cole and Marty Scurll. Also, we continue to kind of limp along with Alex Shelley as the Impact World Champion. Continues to nurse an injury with that issue, the softening of the tissue underneath the kneecap for Alex. He's going to be beaten up with that for about a year, and it's not good. He actually won the title at our January pay-per-view in at Genesis. He won that title. He beat Kofi Kingston. So the last TV taping we did, he had a rematch against Kofi. We kept it short just to kind of protect Alex, and it didn't really go well because Alex is definitely hampered by that, which means we are going to need to look into some alternatives to Alex Shelley holding that championship. My first thought is we take the last 4 Impact champions, and that would be, we can't use Matt Hardy, so we would go with EC3, Johnny Impact, Sami Callihan, and Kofi Kingston in a 4-person tournament for the Impact World Championship. Should either Sami Callihan or Johnny Impact win it, then the Drake Impact Swan Callihan Fatal 4-Way match would then become a match for the Impact World Championship. And then we just basically put Alex Shelley on the shelf for a year, which sucks because Alex is one of our main event players. He's done a lot for us, but having him off for a year is going to be tough. He's 36 years old. He'll be 37 when he returns. Easily would happily give him a main event spot should the roster still be relatively the same when it comes time for him to come back. But that's a problem that we're faced with right now. And it sucks that he's going to have to give that up. So we're going to give him one more opportunity at this next TV that we'll be doing in this episode. And if that match doesn't go well, then we're going to have to look at him vacating that title and going with our 4-person tournament to find us a new Impact champion. But also in this episode, we're going to be talking about the 2007 pay-per-view Destination X. This was the pay-per-view March of 2007 for TNA. A lot of gimmick matches, and you would see the TNA pay-per-view debut of the Heartbreakers, Antonio Thomas and Romeo Rosselli, who were the Heartthrobs in WWE, and the Heartbreakers was kind of a shot at Shawn Michaels. But So we'll talk about that. It also featured one of the worst matches probably in TNA history, and we'll get to that as well. So 6 days. We also have 4 episodes of TV left, and come February, that'll open up for negotiations. We are going to be looking at possibly moving to a bigger network in the United States. Fight Network and Spike UK, we've kind of reached the pinnacle on those. But quite honestly, I don't know if we can get a better TV deal with those two. So Pop TV, and we can only get a new TV deal once every cycle, so once a quarter, depending on when those contracts run out. So we'll likely renew Fight Network and Spike, and then get ourselves a new TV deal in the States with a slightly bigger network, because we're pulling down 3.2s, 3.3s in the ratings department on Pop, and I think that's probably about the limit for Pop TV, is about a 3.2. So we'll be looking into that as well once the calendar turns over to February. So we're going to go ahead and advance, and we are going to talk about the Destination X pay-per-view. It came one day after the death of Big Cat Ernie Ladd, and the first match on the card would be a ghetto brawl between Team 3D and LAX. It was a non-title match. You had to put your opponent through the table and then get a pin to pick up the win. So you had LAX, Homicide and Hernandez, Conan at ringside, and then you had Bully Ray and Devon with Johnny Rods at ringside. Really famous trainer from back in the day. LAX would pick up the win thanks to Alex Shelley and his interference. Next up on the card was a double bull rope match. So you had James Storm tied to Petey Williams, and then Jackie Moore tied to Gail Kim, and with the bull ropes. Pretty okay match. 8 minutes. There's only so much you can do in a bull rope match. James Storm tried to super kick Petey Williams, ducked out of the way. Jackie hit him with the low blow. James Storm super kicked him again. Well, tried to, and then hit him. And then James Storm picked up the pin to get the win. Next up was a really weird match. It was an X Division match. Senshi versus Austin Aries, Austin Starr, in a crossface chicken wing match. So basically, you had to lock your opponent into the crossface chicken wing. Bob Backlund was at ringside, and you had to get your opponent to tap. That was the only way to win, was to pick up a submission victory via the crossface chicken wing. So early in the match, Austin Aries hit the crossface chicken wing, had it locked in, but then Bob Backlund kind of interfered and said that Senshi's foot was under the bottom rope. And then when Starr started doing his Austin Aries fit throwing thing, Senshi locked in the crossface on Austin Aries, got the win, and then afterwards, Austin Aries attacked Bob Backlund, hit him with the crossface chicken wing, and then the officials came out and broke it up. And then, let's do one more match, and then we'll get back to our game here. That would be the pay-per-view debut of the Heartbreakers, Antonio Thomas and Romeo Rosselli. Christy Hemme at ringside for them in a tag team match against the Voodoo Kin Mafia. Billy Gunn and the Road Dogg, and Voodoo Kin Mafia would pick up the win. Not much to really talk about. Pretty standard tag team match. No gimmicks. It would be the first of, I think, 3 matches that didn't have some sort of gimmick or tweak to the traditional one fall match. So there you go. All right, taking a look at our news here. It looks like Kimberly going to stay with AAW. Mascarita Sagrada looks like they're headed out of Lucha Underground. That looks like it hurt. Yeah, so not really much going on. SmackDown Live got pulled from Azteca 7, so they're out of Mexican TV there. Not much going on for us, so we'll move on. The next match on the card at Destination X 2007, 2 out of 3 falls match for the TNA X Division Championship between Jerry Lynn and Chris Sabin. Jerry Lynn would pick up the first fall with the Tornado DDT, and then Sabin would hit the power bomb and the old leverage pin for the second fall. After that, it got kind of weird. Somebody showed up in a Sting mask on the ramp, and Jerry Lynn got distracted. Why he would get distracted by Sting or a person dressed like Sting, I have no idea. But distraction either way. Sabin was able to low blow, cradle shock, third fall, bing bang boom. Chris Sabin retains his TNA X Division Championship. Next match on the card was a scaffold match, but kind of a weird twist, where it was an Elevation X match. So not only was there one scaffold, there were two in an X pattern above the ring, about 2 stories up or so, and they were about 2 feet wide, give or take. And basically the whole purpose of the match, as with most scaffold matches, is to knock your opponent off the scaffold and into the ring. Somehow AJ Styles managed to get baby powder up there, tried to blow it into Rhino's face. Rhino was able to get AJ to put it into his own face somehow. Rhino hit the gore. AJ was able to kind of grab onto the side. Rhino stomped on his fingers. AJ fell to the ring. Rhino is your winner in the Elevation X match. Very weird. Then we come to the one that I talked about in the last episode, and the one that I mentioned again today. We'll get this next one in, and then we've got some emails waiting. So, Kurt Angle versus Scott Steiner. 12-minute flat match. Neither one of them, Scott Steiner's Scott Steiner. And, he's going to pull a Scott Steiner match. Kurt Angle, at this time in his career, I think was getting to that point where he was wrestling with those demons, and the work wasn't quite as good as it was a couple years prior. And so it really was just kind of a sloppy match. As I mentioned, probably one of the worst matches featuring top guys like this in TNA history. It was so bad that the crowd actually kind of was pissed off after this match, and they started using some chants and stuff like that, and blah, blah, blah. And it really kind of set the tone for the final 2 matches, which we'll get to here momentarily. And it really kind of just killed any crowd enthusiasm they had. Alright, so let's talk about what's up here. NXT gets Darius Lee. Shine made a contract offer to Jamie Jamison. Solo staying with Shimmer. George Gatton wins the PCW Wired Championship. Let's see, what else? Lots of shows. New tag team, Mike Mondo and Matt Riviera. TakeOver Philadelphia. Ring of Honor, Being the Elites, all putting on shows. We've got an email, Matt Jackson's rival bid. I know, rival offer is not being seriously considered. So we're in good shape with our offer to Matt. So we'll keep riding that wave there, and hopefully we can bring him in. So he's the only one we're waiting on is Matt Jackson, and hopefully we can sign him. And he might be available for the February pay-per-view. It's going to be close. I know that. So we'll go ahead and move on. Next to the next match up on Destination X 2007, a last rights match between Sting and Abyss. It's essentially a casket match. Sting would pick up the win after he tossed Abyss into the casket. And then you had the main event. The NWA World Heavyweight Championship. Samoa Joe versus Christian Cage. 17 minutes or so, Samoa Joe got the Coquina clutch on Cage. Cage was able to counter with a low blow. And then Joe did his traditional opponent on the top rope, Enziguri. And then Cage fell off the top rope. Joe went for the pin. Cage kicked out. Joe transitioned into the clutch, the Coquina clutch again. And then they did that funky ending where you have, what do you want to call it? The submission is in, but the guy who has the submission locked in has his shoulders down. Cage was able to kind of set it up so it looked like he had a pin, and he was able to get the 3 count and retain the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. So that was that for Destination X 2007. And we've got a lot of retirements going on here. Let's see here. Not these guys, because these guys are all doing their thing. BJW, Big Japan Pro Wrestling. Looks like they're in trouble here. And I wonder if we can buy them out. Cool, we can. Sweet. Let's see if there's anybody we actually want. The Brahmins? No. Masahiro Chono? No, thank you. And there's not really anybody we want. And I'm not paying $282,000 for 3 titles and some tours. So I'm just going to let them die a slow, painful death, and hopefully they can recover. Because we're not buying them out. There's nothing we want. Let's see what else we got. Hamuko Hoshi has retired. Let's see. Seth Rollins is a free agent. Doubt we're big enough. Oh, sweet. Hell yes. 24,340 for 3 years. Everything except house shows. I will give you wage matching, non-compete included. I will pay you $30,000 a month to come and work at TNA. And I'm willing to give you 4 years, 30% per pay-per-view. Because you would become the new face of Impact Wrestling along with Adam Cole. That's just all there is to it. He'd be the best wrestler by far that we have on our roster. Dragon Kid looks like he's retiring. Viano 4 retiring. Shane McMahon becomes the new owner of WWE. Mike Tenay is retiring. Royal Rumble last night. Michael Hayes looks like he's going to re-sign with WWE as a road agent, and Vince McMahon officially retiring February 2020. Book it. I'm telling you. Although I don't think that Shane would take over the company. I think it would be Stephanie and Paul Levesque. But, you know, it is what it is. Alright, Matt Bloom will become a road agent in a week. We actually lost $600,000 in January. Yeah, we're going to have to slow it down a little bit. We spent $603,000 on talent. That's the most we've spent since December of 2019. Oh wait, no, we spent $1.147 million on talent. So yeah, our talent, our roster costs are going up. Our show costs are going up a little bit. Marketing has stayed the same. Merchandise is going up just a touch. Production costs are the same. Development territories are, reasonable. We have a dojo apparently, which I didn't realize we did. Miscellaneous costs, $448. So we're looking at expenditure total. Oh, let's see, 75, 150. Let's call it 350. So about $550,000. No, that would be $390,000 in estimated expenditures, $166,000 in income from sponsorships. So we're going to need to make some cash, some pay-per-view revenue, which has been going up steadily. And it looks like we're not losing money as much as we were to start, so we're doing okay. Alright, head booker at WWE is available if we wanted it. That's not the goal of our game here. Networks are scheduling for spring. Seth Rollins' contract is up for renewal. his offer from WWE is not being considered at this time. Thank you. Alright, so let's take a look at TV providers here, TV networks in the United States that we could leverage to get ourselves more eyes on the show. So we're on Pop TV currently, and it looks like they are a medium-sized mainstream style. So if we wanted to go minimum size big, that doesn't leave us with many options. So we've got ABC, CBS. We don't meet the requirements for them. We don't meet the requirements for Fox. We do meet the requirements for ESPN, HBO, MTV, MTV2 obviously, Spike TV, we could return to Spike, Sci-Fi, TBS, the CW, well, not TNT, and probably not USA. WWE, sticking to USA, TNT has AEW, Time Warner also owns the CW and TBS, which would put us on a competing, or the same network as AEW. And then, of course, NBC Universal owns USA and Sci-Fi, and, of course, NBC. ESPN, I think, might be a good opportunity for us. It's available on basic cable. It's available on Dish. It's available pretty much anywhere you could go. So, I want to expand Impact Wrestling to ESPN, and we'll see if that opportunity presents itself. So we'll go ahead and move on, advance us a day here, and on our next episode, episode number 37, we're going to be talking about TNA Lockdown 2007. TNA Lockdown 2007, again, they moved away from the Impact Zone for the first time since they were in Detroit, and they've started experimenting a little bit in 06-07 with getting away from the Impact Zone and doing a few things. Now, this was a traditional lockdown pay-per-view, so a lot of steel cage matches. There was an electrified steel cage match, a lockdown match, lethal lockdown match. Harley Race would appear in this pay-per-view. You also had Shark Boy returning. Kevin Nash would be there. Not in ring action, but there nonetheless. And Matt Bentley would appear on pay-per-view for the first time with a new gimmick as part of Serotonin, with Kazarian, who now goes by Kaz, and Johnny Devine, who goes by Havoc. Matt Bentley would go by Martyr going forward. So, you know, it is what it is. This was also the technically final NWA affiliated pay-per-view. Now, the championships, the NWA championships, the belts themselves would be featured prominently at Sacrifice, although the NWA would formally vacate those titles the day of Sacrifice, the morning of Sacrifice. So, Lockdown technically was the final one. And we'll talk about that in next week's episode. But we've got more stuff to get to here, including getting into TV. We have some unread emails waiting, and no news really that really piques our interest. WWE altered the terms of their offer to Tyler Black. $30,940 for 5 years. Wow. Okay. I'll go to $32,750 for 5 years. I'll keep everything else the same. And hopefully that will get him to sign with us. I really, really want to land Tyler Black in a bad way. Alright, so we'll move forward here. Man, What a wild day at work for me today. I'm actually kind of glad that I'm getting this episode in early because I am mentally exhausted. Just mentally, physically drained. It was, and like, I don't do manual labor like at work. I have an office job, and I'm an executive, so I mean, a lot of my work is more mental than physical, and it was just something about the day that was just absolutely draining. Craziness. I don't know. More emails, always with the emails. Okay, Michael Hayes got his extension. Billy Kay, who is known as Billy Kay, Jessie McKay, might actually be somebody I want to bring on board here. So she getting a payday from WWE. I don't know if she's worth $17,000, but I'm gonna offer it to her because why the hell not? And give Kairi Sane some competition here. Danny Davis has retired. Macho Pump and Vancouver Cat have divorced. Jesus Rodriguez was fired by AAW. Not AEW, but AAW. Also, Jeff Jarrett and Karen Jarrett officially divorced, which I don't think will ever happen at this point, but, whatever. Alright, emails. Jeff and Karen Jarrett have divorced. I know that. The owner of OVW is now up for grabs now that Danny Davis has retired. I don't know if that means I can buy them. Yeah, they have to be financially just difficult. So, yeah, I can't buy them and use them as a developmental territory. I wonder if, like, partnership wise, I could bring them in on an alliance or company relationship, I mean. Let's see. OVW. We want to be their parent company. So we'll see. Why not? It's worth a shot, right? Can't hurt. Alright, so let's see what Tyler Black's deal is here. It's not being seriously considered. So we'll go ahead and delete that. We're still waiting on Matt Jackson, too. Alright, so tonight is our TV. Finally. A lot of workers being processed here. I really hope that means someone is signing. Be it Seth Rollins, be it Matt Jackson. I just want somebody to sign with us. One of the two that we've been working on. Ooh, I saw Jessie McKay. Oh. Hey. Unread emails waiting. Shit. I don't like that. Ren Narita. Naito re-signed. Superfly. Gonna stay with AAA. Alright. OVW rejected our relationship. Alright, that's fine. It was worth a shot. Billy Kay. Wow, $18,790. Alright. I'll go to 20,000. And they're at 4 years. I'll go 5. That's cool. Whatever. And Naito signed his extension because we didn't go after him. Alright. So, Impact Wrestling tonight. Let's get it going. So we know we have 2 matches to get in this one for sure. And that would be our 2 semifinal matches between TJP and Jake Hager. TJP and Jake Hager. We're actually going to stretch this one out a little bit. I'm going to try and do like a co-main event type situation with these two. And then we'll do Will Ospreay and Bobby Fish. Let's see if we can pull off the co-main event with this here. Slow build. Open decisive. Okay. Alright, so we got those two matches locked in, ready to go. Alright, so now we are gonna do some shifting around here. We're gonna do Phoenix versus Marty Scurll. We're gonna do Pentagon Jr. versus Mark Briscoe. And then we're gonna do Adam Cole, baby, versus Jay Briscoe. There we go. Cool. Alright, so we got those guys worked in. Okay, now we will actually feature a tag match. We'll do Eli Drake and Johnny Impact versus Sami Callihan and Rich Swann. Alright, now let's see here. We're going to take and we're going to do a fatal four-way match between the four guys who lost in the first round of our Grand Championship tournament. So that's going to be Ricochet, Jay White, Flip Gordon, and Jay Lethal. That is a dynamite match right there. I almost want that to main event. Alright, and let's see if we can find a suitable opponent for Kairi Sane. Is there anybody that... Okay, Miyagi hasn't. Sayuri hasn't. Fujimoto and Tsukushi. Alright, let's start with Tsukasa Fujimoto. Kairi Sane has been absolutely, positively, 1000% unbeatable since she won that title. Okay, so we've got 10 minutes left, and how many main eventers? Just the two, Alex Shelley and Kofi Kingston. going to keep Alex off of TV for right now and go Kofi versus Nick. I've only got 10 minutes left. Shoot. Alright, so we'll run with that. Okay, here we go. 125 minutes. What do we got? 9 segments. Say a little prayer and hope that those 2 main events pull it off for us. Ooh, I knew I should have main evented that one. Ricochet, Jay White, Flip Gordon, Jay Lethal. That. Man, I knew I should have gone with that one, but that is a pay-per-view match for sure. Definitely want to get that one down. That's awesome. B- match between our Fatal 4-Way competitors in a tag team. Rich Swann picks up the win for his team. C+ match out of Kairi Sane and Tsukasa Fujimoto. B- out of Kofi and Nick Jackson. Adam Cole picks up the win in a B-rated match for him. B-rated match for Penta and Mark. B+ for Marty Scurll and Phoenix. Alright, after Marty picked up the win. B out of TJP and Jake Hager, and a B out of Will Ospreay and Bobby Fish. Whew, I was so worried that they were going to not come in with good ratings, but good enough, I suppose. Bobby Fish moves on to the finals, as does TJP. So your finals for the Impact Grand Championship, which will be held at TNA Genesis, Impact Genesis, whatever you want to call it. TJP versus Bobby Fish for the Impact Grand Championship. Alright, so we now have 5 matches for our card, and left Alex Shelley off of it, even though I knew I wanted to put him on it so that I could gauge whether or not he needed to vacate the title. Really puts me in a kind of a crappy spot. So what we'll do next episode, is we'll put Alex Shelley in a match. We'll also do sort of a sneaky tournament, if you will. Ah, shit, Rich Swann got hurt. Simple frontal bone fracture. That's probably not good. He's out 27 days and cannot perform. So that takes our triple threat match down to a fatal 4-way. That's not good. And Alex Shelley's still going to be laid up for a year. Okay. So, what that means is we are going to have, on our next TV taping, we're going to do Sami Callihan versus Johnny Impact. And then on the other side, we're going to do Kofi Kingston versus EC3. And that will be sort of a sneaky way of getting 2 people who will contend for the title in week 3 at the pay-per-view. And the winner will be crowned the Impact World Champion if Alex Shelley can't perform at this next TV taping. So we need to make sure we have an Alex Shelley match in the next pay-per-view. So we've got decisions, we've got emails to get to. Jessie McKay had her rival bid updated. Phoenix is a little beat up. Jake Hager's a little beat up. Ratings. Down on the Fight Network, down slightly on Spike, and up slightly on Pop. So we're right hanging near where we expect to be for all three of those networks. Now we need to figure out what's up with Billie Kay. Damn, they really want to lock her up. We're going to have to go outside of the smart offer realm here. I don't want to go that high. I'll do 22.5. That's about as high as I'm going to go. Keep it at 5 years. I will go 30% bonus. Just because I need another strong competitor in the women's division. So we'll go ahead and close that out. We've got decisions. We signed Matt Jackson. Sweet. So Matt Jackson jumps on board. He'll be available in 2 weeks. Let's see how things are going. We're in good shape with Seth Rollins as well. Alright, 6 days to TV. We're going to advance one more day just to see if we can land Tyler Black. If not, we'll end the episode and we'll come back tomorrow, episode 37, and see if we can get him signed, sealed, and delivered into the Impact Zone. And it's going to be a decision on whether or not I want him to keep the Seth Rollins name or go back to Tyler Black. I think I want to go Tyler Black. He did appear in a dark match on TNA back in the day. One match as Tyler Black. Just one, though. New emails awaiting. Ooh, Kenny Omega's going to be a free agent. Sweet. Braun Strowman re-signed with WWE. Yada, yada, yada. Let's see if we can land us some Kenny Omega. I'll max him out. I don't care. He's 36. We'll keep it 4 years. Let's see if you can beat that AEW. Oh, $17,850 a month. That's a lot more than where we're at. I'll go to 23.5 if it locks him up. They went 3 years. Alright. Well, our offer's out there to Kenny, so we'll see. And Billie Kay not being seriously considered. Okay, cool. Alright, so we're in good shape there. And that'll wrap it up for this episode. So, we have offers out to Billie Kay, Tyler Black, aka Seth Rollins, and Kenny Omega. And the face of Impact Wrestling, the entire Impact main event landscape could be turned on its head in just a matter of days. So stay tuned for that. Episode 37 coming at you tomorrow. My name is the Mayor, Jason Smith. We'll see you next time. Be excellent to